When you see this icon, pause the presentation and restart when you're ready. The eSgoil National 5 Gaelic Learners course was developed with the help of the following bodies. So welcome to Fólam deagh. This is Education 2. We've already looked at education earlier in the course, but this one is going to help us look at education and the education we've received this year since we started the course as well. And we're going to look at that through the lens of a construction called the perfect tense. And we'll talk about that a lot more in a moment. And we're also going to look at preceding adjectives, which will challenge a small thing that we've known about Gaelic since we started. So, the perfect tense. What do we mean by the perfect tense? Now, if you look at this top there, that structure Hammy air is going to be absolutely key to your understanding of this going forward. Now, you might not know about the perfect tense, especially if you've only been told in English class about past, present and future tense. And in terms of Gaelic, there's only a couple more tenses, but there are lots of other tenses which exist that aren't connected to time, so to speak, but they really tell you more about the status of the action. So that's what we mean by perfect. What we're going to learn is called the perfect tense, and it isn't perfect in the sense that it's flawless. It's not amazing like you are, obviously. It just means the action has been done. It is complete. It has been done. And we use the word air to show this in Gaelic. So it's very easy to create because it's really just a kind of tweak on the present tense. So we use Hammy air instead of Hammy I. So, for example, Hammy air fallav, I have gone away. Hammy I fallav, I am going away. So Hammy air fallav, I've gone. Hammy I fallav, I'm going. So that's Hammy, that ha something air puts it into the perfect tense. Now, the simplest way to create the perfect tense is when you're just talking about one thing. You talk about things that you have done, you just use this structure. Hammy air plus just the basic verbal noun. So, Hammy air shine, I have sung. Ha Callum air fallav, Callum has gone. Ha Mary air chien eriisht, Mary has come again. One that's used in religious times at Christmas time, at Easter time, as ha er eri, he is risen, or he has risen. They say that at Easter in terms of Jesus Christ at that time of year. You'll see it on all of Easter cards. Chanel shin iche, we have not eaten. So it's very simple to do the negative version as well. Chanel shin iche. And Avail Shiv Irkuich has, have you played yet? So it's just really a tweak on the basic present tense, and it can be done in that way. So here's a little Ederhengi exercise for you. Quite a lot to do this time, English to Gaelic, and then a Gaelic to English one. And once you're ready, feel free to move on to the next slide, and you'll get the answers in the correct term. And here they are. And once you're ready, move on. Using the perfect tense with the direct object. Now, if you are talking about, say for example, I sung a song or I have eaten a sandwich, inversion happens, which we've looked at previously. So instead of saying Hammy air shine oren, you say Hammy air oren a hain. Okay? Hammy air kepere iche. Not Hammy air iche kepere, but Hammy air kepere iche. And again, you'll see it uses the infinitive form after. So that's using the inversion, which we've looked at in the past when we're looking at skills. And it's very, very useful because the reason that we're doing it at this point in the course, it's about talking about our learning. What have we learned? What have we done? Hammy er berle yanu. Hammy er Gaelic yumsachug. So that will help you talk about what you've done. So we have another Ederhengi exercise for you. Again, there's some Berla to Gaelic and some Gaelic to Berla. So take your time with that and move on when you're ready. And here are the answers to the previous slide. So moving on, Hammy Erevi. Now this Hammy Erevi structure is quite common. You'll hear it used a lot in evi, as we know there's no verbal noun for be, but evi is the closest that we have, it's the infinitive form, and it really means I have been, and it gets used a lot with adjectives. Hammy Erevi trang, I have been busy. Hammy Erevi trang. It's also used when you talk about what you have been doing, not what you have done. Hammy Erevi koper an in Glasgow. I have been working in Glasgow. Hammy Erevi koper an in Glasgow. And the good thing about Hammy Erevi is it's quite nice. It can be a little cheat actually. Hammy Erevi y clwch bal cosche. I have been playing football. And Hammy Erevi screwed ag echtri. I've been studying history. So it's just a nice little twist. You'll see it kind of resets it. If you're struggling with that inversion thing, maybe chuck in a wee evi just to make yourself sure. Now, Hammy Eregol is another structure. I have gone. Okay, and no, it's not Hammy Erdol, but Hammy Eregol. Always one nights. Okay, I've gone. So Hammy Eregol gan Rang, I've gone to France. Avelu Eregol a America. Have you gone to America? Gaan jy meer taal geëiken hast? And if you remember in the previous lesson, we're using the gam gats there. Now, some useful verbs which might help you out with that, just talking about past and before, especially with have, is roie, before, echane, previously, and riev, used with ha, you talking like I have ever, or always, or chaniel, you're talking about never. So we'll look at the next slide, and there's some Eder Hengi here, Berwa to Gaelic again, and Gaelic to Berwa. So if you have a chance to do that, just pause it and then move on when you're ready. And here are the Fregersten that go with that structure there. Now, there is a thing called the pluperfect tense, which you shouldn't really need to worry about higher. Sorry, National 5. Useful for higher and advanced higher. And the pluperfect's actually a bit like the perfect tense. It's just, by pluperfect you mean like more than perfect. That's what it means really. And it's really things that had been done. And it's very simple. You just change ha to va. And that makes it dead simple. But it happened like way in the past, long before units. So you can also use perfect forms in the future. Be erfalav, he will have gone. And in fact, you can use them in the conditional tense, but we're not going to look at that just now. But just if you want to, you can say that type of thing. Now, going forward, so far in Gaelic, we've always been told adjective comes after the noun. It will unite if the noun before it is feminine. But, and that's it. That is the case. That's what you should be basing your ideas on. However, there are some adjectives which can come before a noun, and the three most common are these: Joe, droch, and sar. So Joe is sometimes people pronounce it a bit like Joe, but it's Joe, and it's Joe Runye, a good guy, droch Runye, a bad guy, and sar Runye, a super guy, a superman. Sar Runye. So Joe Runye, droch Runye, sar Runye. And they all unite where possible, and they get used to it. Just really kind of, it's got a bit more of an emphasis. You'll see it actually quite a lot in Gaelic. Sometimes you'll see mountains with they take the adjective, it's actually the front, like more vine, gara vine, and it just kind of emphasises the adjective. It's not a hard and fast rule. So here's a little Eder Hengi, and have a wee go at those ones there. These ones all have a preceding adjective before them, and you'll see how they work. And some of those preceding adjectives that were in the previous one actually come in this slide here. Some other adjectives are an a, the next, corre, a few or an odd, fir, which is true, príomh, the main or the prime, as in príomh minister, a prime minister, and sean, old. And there's a hula, every, gach, each, imidoch or imig, many. So these things tell us more about, they describe, really, which is what adjectives do. And most of them benign, so you'll see them there, some examples. Some letters don't change at all, of course the usuals, skull and law. What you'll notice this happens quite a lot of the time. Sean, N's and D's and T's don't like to, so sean dunne, an old man, sean tai, an old house. It doesn't, when T's and D's don't tend to line after N's. And then hula, gach, imidoch, even though they're about many, they will only use the single form. So a hula fair, every man. Imidoch bliana, many year. Imid babel, many boy. Gach dunne, each man. So it's just something to be aware of, and that idea that if you're talking about many of something, you're actually going to use the single form of the noun. Is a good way to remember it. Finally, this is a little example. If you look at the previous lesson, lesson 19, we do a little bit of talk regarding how the talk assessment is. And if you are going to be talking in the conversation after the presentation about your experiences this year in school, you might want to answer some of these questions. Dé ha u ianamh yn bliana sy'n sgol? Dé ha u iwmsachig yn bliana? Dé na leorichin a ha u lewig an yn berwa? And dé na cwsperin a ha u tug sy'n yn a bliana? So it's worth thinking about those the responses to that and developing your answers towards them. Now, here is a final thing about lewig. So you'll want to have a go at this. Just read this passage about Callum and answer the questions. There's quite a few examples of the perfect tense being used. And when you're ready, move on to the Frigerston. Here we have it. We have the Frigerston there. He's lived there all his life. Fad Movea, all his life. Ochin Shia Bliana, he's been there for 6 years. How he did. Chadaraini Rova ans Nuri. He didn't do too well in the exams last year. And also, Femimi Joe Heshnes and Ian Shnagal College. He needs good grades to get, or good qualifications to get to college. What does he say about his teachers? He had a Korstig room. He's enjoyed them better, a lot better than his and droch teacher, his bad teacher last year. Bjarlam Furoch Anzageriston, he would prefer to stay in Fort William. Fashk in Mohyoluk, I guess Mohyol Harrigan, near his family and good friends. He hopes Hamid Dochas Gunshig Yacher, he hopes the snow will come soon, and Norway's very dear. Whether that's a comparison with France is up to debate, but it's also much colder and the skiing is better. So anyway, that's it. And finally, final piece of work for you in this course. This is, as you know, you should be quite used to this by now, the shape of the National 5 writing. Make sure you answer all 6 bullet points in response to the advert here on the left. And once you're done that, it should be about 120, 150 words. Make sure you show it to your tutor and they will give you feedback on it.